Hello Survivor Buffs, it's me, Toby, and on behalf of the Buff Headwear Company, I want to welcome you to my final Toby's Tribal for Season 31 of Survivor. It's Survivor Cambodia, Second Chances. Alright, this has been, by all accounts, an amazing season of Survivor. One of the best. And I'm looking forward to a very exciting final episode. Which means I haven't watched it yet, because I'm trying something different. The show, with all its changes, has inspired me. I'm trying something a little different and doing my version of live tweeting, and I'll be checking back with you after each person's voted out tonight in sort of, kind of a live way, so you can get immediate reactions of what I think. And if things are going along with my predictions, and also with themes of this season, which are second chances and changing your game. My predictions are Kimmy doesn't win, but she makes it to Final Tribal. And I'm not sure after that. I think that if Wentworth is in Final Tribal, she wins. It's all really going to depend on these idols that are played. No one knows Jeremy has one, no one knows she has one, and also how bitter the jury is and who they're mad at and all this stuff. So I really have no predictions. So let's just get started. I am ready to eat while I watch this, and so I'll use this Angor buff as a bib, another use for a buff, and let's get started. It's time for the finale of Survivor 31, Second Chances. Let's roll. Here I go again on my own. Well, that was friggin' amazing. Oh my god, that was crazy. So Spencer wins a difficult immunity challenge, and they go to Tribal Council, the 6 of them. In the meantime, Kimmy has hatched a plot to lie to her alliance and say that they're going to split the votes between Wentworth and Keith in case they have, one of them has an idol, and then she is going to join Wentworth and Keith and flip and vote out Jeremy. The problem is, Kimmy is not that sneaky, and she's loud. She's not that good at lying, and so Spencer and Tasha are onto it right away. So they say they're going to go along with it, blah, blah, blah. Jeremy, who has now been fooled by Kimmy during a conversation in a hammock, believes her because Jeremy just believes women who start crying. But then we get to Tribal Council and Spencer says, no, we're not going to do that. We're all voting for the same person. So then he creates a showdown. Now, everybody was so messed up in this whole situation. Kimmy, horrible lying, going off of people, making it obvious. Jeremy, just believing a woman because she's crying and not refusing to believe that she could have turned. And Spencer, blabbing out their information, what they were going to do. Just do it. And then what happened next wouldn't have happened, which is Wentworth then plays her idol, and Jeremy plays his idol. The votes go 3 to Wentworth, 3 to Jeremy. So for the first time in Survivor history, first time in 31 seasons, we have no votes. No votes cast. That was a big twist for the episode. No votes cast. So what's next? Then there are now 3 people immune. Spencer, Wentworth, and Jeremy. We go to a revote. The revote happens, and Jeremy starts acting like a jackass. Jeremy is, Kimmy, we should have done that, and skipping and doing all this stuff. The jury's looking at him like he's crazy, and being a jackass, and he is. And it's not cute behavior, and it's typical Jeremy. Someone hasn't changed their game for their second chance, let me tell you. Anyway, this happens, and the vote comes out, and it's 3 votes Tasha versus 3 votes Kimmy. Tasha versus Kimmy. Now, Jeff then says we have a tie, so according to the rules, now we poll the people. None of the 4 people that voted this way say they're going to change their votes. So now here's the new thing. They have to talk, the 4 of them, and they have to come up with a unanimous decision. Either Tasha goes home or Kimmy goes home. If not, if they can't do this, then Tasha and Kimmy also become immune. 5 people become immune. Keith goes by default. So basically, once they talk, Jeremy and Spencer say solid, say Tasha's not going anywhere. So it's either going to be Kimmy or Keith. Which one do you want, Keith? Do you want to change your vote and vote with us to get out Kimmy, or do you want to go home? Keith at first volunteers and says, I'll go home. She has 2 kids, and she's crying. It's very emotional, and it's very weird. Wentworth convinces him to stay. Kimmy goes home. She really tried at the end there to do something. The idols really just messed her up. But also her being so bad at the plan and Spencer blabbing out the plan really made these idols come out early. So it'd be interesting to see what happens now. Basically, it's a 3-2 situation going into the final 5. That was an epic Tribal Council, and only fitting for this amazing, amazing season. Let's see how we wrap this up. Again and again. Well, we just had the next person voted out. It was Keith, unfortunately. Wentworth did a hard-fought obstacle course immunity challenge, and she did really well. She was smart. She did the hardest obstacle first, and that put her in front. Then she just started solving the puzzle. Of course, everything ends in a puzzle, and she did really well. After that, she came back to camp and made a fake idol for Keith. That was really their only play. And they put the doubt in Jeremy's mind. Jeremy especially seemed to be freaking out and tried to get Keith, a hilarious scene where he tried to get Keith's attention, and Keith was not paying attention, and he finally got it while Tasha was napping and Spencer was away. And he told Keith to vote for Spencer. So it looked like it was going to be Spencer going home, maybe, if Jeremy flipped. Keith kept making little signals during tribal council, like he was going in his bag and fidgeting, and did, of course, play the idol because it was fake. And in a nail biter, it was 2 votes Spencer versus 2 votes Keith, and Jeremy went against Keith after all. Keith went home. So now we're down to the final 4, and we'll see what happens.
One more time!
Well, Survivor Buffs, that's kind of disappointing. We have just seen Kelly Wentworth voted out. The immunity challenge was the one with the balls in the contraption, and you have to catch it and make sure they don't drop, and you keep adding balls and balls and balls. She was actually the first one out, then Tasha, and it was down to Spencer and Jeremy. Spencer went out. Jeremy wins his first actual individual immunity. You know, for all as big as he is and all the threat that he is, it's interesting that this is his first individual immunity, but he won it when he needed to. It was very emotional for him because he knew he was finally at the final tribal council, something he'd been dreaming about. And of course, it was for Val and for the kids and all that. You know, things he hasn't really mentioned to the other contestants, but will come out at final tribal, I'm sure. Kelly Wentworth tried to convince him to, maybe do something, different or not take Spence. Jeremy had also considered having him go to a fire challenge, so he knew he had that power. And he said he didn't want to let the power go to his head, but it does go to his head a little bit. Anyway, Spencer convinced Jeremy that right before he voted, he said, look, if you're about to vote me out, I'm just telling you that if you keep her, that is a dumb move, and I, as a jury member, will try everything in my power to make sure that she wins. And that argument, which is really a threat, carried water, I guess, because Jeremy didn't do the whole fire thing, and Kelly was voted out 3-1. Kind of sad. She was great, I thought. Much better. She took advantage of her second chance, really changed her story, really changed the way I looked at her, and I appreciated that she was in the game and she was a contender. Interestingly enough, nobody discussed Tasha. Tasha was clearly a lock to go, which just shows you that Tasha really didn't do enough this time. But she made it to Final Tribal, which is an improvement over her last time. All right, now we're going to do the final day and Final Tribal Council, and I'll check back in with you later. Let's see who's bitter. Can't wait.
So can we do it all over again?
Well, Survivor Buffs, I just finished watching the jury questions, and people weren't as bitter as I thought they would be. These are all players that recognize good gameplay. They had really good questions to ask. Some highlights were Savage first came up and talked to both Spencer about his arrogance at the last tribal council when he was threatening Jeremy, and also Jeremy about his arrogance regarding Kimmy. And so they both explained those things away. Jeremy said he was angry. Spencer said he apologized for how it came across, but that he has been working on himself. Spencer's theme throughout the questioning was that he's been working on himself and changing and becoming a better person. We know that we've been watching that this whole season. Tasha's big thing was, and she was asked by a couple people, what she did, was that she was playing the game within the game, as she says. And she wasn't just doing Jeremy's dirty work, but she was making big decisions. As an example, she used convincing Jeremy not to freak out and not to vote Joe out because there was no Women's Alliance. Still kind of vague. I don't really know that she's going to get that many votes. But she did, I think, improve her lot. She did speak well and sort of convinced me a little bit more that she deserved to be there. Of course she deserves to be there, but convinced me that she had made some moves. Jeremy, of course, saved the best for last, and upon Wentworth asking them all what their second chance stories were about, brought up the fact that right before he left, he found out that his wife was pregnant, and that when she came to visit, he found out it was a boy. He's crying. It's all for his family. It's all very emotional. Abby's covering her face, and I don't know. My favorite person, however, was the original runner-up, Kelly Wigglesworth, who said that her fate 15 years ago was decided, in that same positions by one question. She asked the exact same question. Pick a number between 1 and 10. Jeremy chooses 2, Tasha chooses 3, Spencer chooses 4. We'll see how the voting goes, and when I next see you, we will have a new winner of Survivor 31, Second Chances. Well, there you have it. In an apparently unanimous vote, Jeremy is voted to be the winner of Survivor 31, Survivor Cambodia, Second Chances. It has been a truly epic season in which 20 people came out to play. And it was amazing. Even the votes that seemed obvious at first were exciting and still iffy toward, until they actually happened. What a great season. Great job, America, choosing these players. Great job, players, doing what you did. Thank you for what I think is, to my remembrance, the best season of Survivor since maybe the first one. Jeremy is a very worthy winner. He basically did what he had to do and did a lot of it, fighting idols and really, maintaining alliances. And as Fishback said, keeping some trust and dignity and decency in the game. Jeremy wins Survivor 31. Val is super pregnant, and they're rich now. Well, Survivor Buffs, there you have it. That was Season 31 of Survivor. It was amazing. The reunion show is actually really good. They did a great job of going over some of the thought processes behind some of the things that happened on the show, breaking down what it felt like for Tasha and Joe, for example, to be in those injury times where she almost drowned and he passed out. Also asked Savage about why they didn't split votes in the vote that got him voted out. And I like that they went back and asked for some of the thought processes. In addition, we saw Terry Dietz's family. We met Danny. He's fine. He had to have a heart transplant. I guess it was a sudden thing. It was great to hear the backstory. And Terry Dietz has a beautiful family, meanwhile. We also got to touch base with a couple other people and talk to Spencer, see Spencer's little giggly girlfriend. They're still in love. And it was just a great show all around. And next season, we're back to brains versus brawn versus beauty. And I don't know if any of you noticed this, but one of the brawn people is Caleb from Big Brother. Oh my God, the original beast mode. So I'm very excited. He was a fan favorite of Big Brother, and I think next season will be great. I don't know if it'll live up to this season. It looks like there's a lot of medical emergencies next season, but I'm going to be there watching it and recapping it. On the show, Jeff talked about how they like doing the show, and I love actually writing about it and doing these video blogs for you. So I thank you for hanging out with me this season and the past bunch of seasons I've done this for the Buff Headwear Company. Speaking of which, our best in buff, of course, is our winner, Jeremy. Jeremy, who always looked good in his buff, no matter what tribe he was on, and looked even better in his buff when he won the game. Congratulations, Jeremy. You are our best in buff. That's all I've got for this season of Survivor, Survivor 31, Survivor Cambodia, Second Chances. Again, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for watching these videos that I've done and for reading all my recaps. You guys are awesome. And so I will see you next season for Brain versus Brawn versus Beauty. In the meantime, have great holidays and make good choices.
It's the second time around.